Mandy wrote a blog on ExoJane that I found really fascinating because she talked about ageism and how women feel this tremendous amount of pressure to pretend like they're much younger than they really are. Now, I wasn't originally going to talk about this story, but Wes wants to talk about it.
Well, I read it because I read your post and I was like, oh wow, this is a really fascinating story.
I just found it interesting because Mandy, I don't know her last name, she didn't disclose her last name, but she's 37 years old and she's really proud of being 37. And you know, in the US, 37 is considered like you're ancient, which is ridiculous. No, but it's true. I mean, in the TV world, in a lot of businesses that are super superficial, 37 is too old for
banking.
A woman.
Well, look, so it applies to women more, keep it real, but it also applies to guys too. And I can't tell you the number of times that I've been told in my career, oh, you're way too young. And then like a split second later, oh, you're way too old. But wait a minute, where's the sweet spot? Like, where was I supposed to get the job?
What would be awesome, Jake, if you were 15 and you could do this show as a 15-year-old?
Right. If I had all the experience of a 42-year-old,
yes,
but 15. I was in the mind of a 50
yes.
or in the body of a 15-year-old, yes. But those people don't exist.
Sure they do. They're actors, and they have writers who... Look, my son's only 9. You could put him on. We'll write it up. We'll have you record it, and then he'll just repeat it.
That'll be the young Turks. Okay, so now we're thinking. Okay,
the 2 young Turks.
The 2 young Turks. I like that. Okay.
So she's a writer, and she does a number of different stories on a number of different topics. And oftentimes, when she's writing about a female subject, she has to lie about the age, right? The woman will lie about the age, and she has to pretend like she's buying that age. But she doesn't buy it, and she's kind of venting in this blog. And I love the way she writes because she's a little vulgar. So let me give you a little taste of what she says. Older women are hot, dude. They're fucking smart and savvy and stylish and sexy as hell. They're maniacs in the bedroom.
Oh, God bless.
Okay. She continues to write, I'm happier, more successful, and even more beautiful than any other point in my life. That's what 37 stands for me. That's why I don't give any of those awesome qualities by lying and saying I'm 30. Fuck that. Let the 30-year-olds be jealous of my 37-year-old ass.
She's trying too hard. Like I got it. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you are hot, and I'm sure I'd love to have sex with you in a second, right? But like I'm awesome. I'm 37, but I'm this and I'm that and I'm okay. All right.
I understand why she feels that way because she's bombarded day in and day out with advertisements everywhere she goes. Saying, "You're old. God, you're old, and you're ugly. Give us some money and we'll fix that."
Right.
I mean,
right. Exactly.
She's bombarded with this stuff every day, and as our culture goes lower and lower and lower in age, I mean, I told you in the break, like, you know, in the 1950s, America discovered the teenage market. So they marketed everything to teenagers, like 16 and higher. And then in the 90s, they went after tweens, you know, kids who are like 11, 12, and 13. Now they've mined that market. So now they're going after the next stage of shows for Nickelodeon. They're going to be live action 9 and 10-year-olds to get lower and lower and lower. And you see it in business too, don't you? I mean, in banking, there's this class of woman that you'll find in New York between the ages of 20 and 35 who's hot, young, has a master's degree, and works for an investment bank. And they're hired and made a VP because the old horny guys like to see young women. And then when they're 40, it's like, hey, you're not that hot anymore. Get out. And that's what happens. And all these, you know, it's like when you read in the article, I remember when I was like 22, I'd be like, God, 30's old. 30's nothing. And when I got divorced, I did not date younger women because
that was a mistake.
No, it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake for a couple of the reasons that she says, which is, all right, a younger woman is just, they're going to be more difficult, they're going to want different things, and they're not going to be as good in bed.
No, I hear you on all that.
And then I feel like I'd be like a fucking time traveler. Because it'd be like,
yeah, that sounds pretty good.
She didn't grow up when I grew up. There's none of the same cultural touchstones or relevance, and then
you learn new things.
The sense that I got from reading this is she is extremely confident, and you're confident because you're right. You become more comfortable with your body as you get older. So I'm 26, right? And I think of who I was at like 21, and I was much less confident in who I was both mentally and physically at 21 versus 26. And it only gets better.
In terms of how comfortable people are, just look at amateur porn online. How many of those people are young and pretty? None of them. They're all old. You're like, dude, are you sure you put it? I don't want to look at that. But they're comfortable with their bodies, so they put it on later.
Okay, now, but look, I will say this. I'm the king of keeping it real. I look at my old pictures when I was a senior in high school, freshman in college, etc. I got the football picture, etc. That dude looks much better than this dude. Okay, he just does. He's like,
of course he does.
Jesus, 50 pounds lighter. Okay, and he's in better shape and he looks better. I wish I knew that I was actually okay looking back then. Like I was all mortified and oh my God, I have a little gut and I have this and I have that and we were so insecure. Now the ironic thing is I'm super confident, right? Whereas I should have been confident back then and I'm not sure I should be confident today, right? So it's a mixture of all this stuff.
Well, you should be confident today because really, look, when you get to the long and the short of things in life, it really doesn't matter that much what you look like. It matters what kind of person you are and, you know, if people respect you for who you are.
Yeah.
Not what you look like, because everybody gets ugly. All the 22-year-old girls are like, oh my God, she's so gross. Like,
Yeah, and I love it when they get gross.
And the thing is, the really hot people in high school look usually the worst, like when you're 30. Like when you go back to the high school reunions, like the super hot chick, not hot anymore.